You'll you'll bear with me. I have a bit of stage fright. As you might have noticed, I've taken somewhat of a vow of silence when it comes to speaking in my own voice publicly on the internet for the past few years. Um, but I'd like to start off by thanking Martin from Paris. I hope you're watching this, as well as Alexander, Thomas, Bartek, Teresa. God, I know I'm going to forget somebody. Oy vey, I'm going to forget somebody. I know it, but and basically all of the patrons uh, who've, uh, who've helped out specifically in the past 5 years. I used to be a comedian of some renown, as you can see from the posters behind me. I used to be a comedian of some renown. I say used to because for the past 5 years, I've been lucky to get one, maybe two gigs a year, and those have come from either Jay Hanley in Birmingham or Paul James in Neath in South Wales. So if you're one of the few people have been able to see me live in the past 5 years, you have those two guys to thank for it. Um, I wrote a little sheet here because I don't want to go longer than 2.5 minutes, but I know I'm going to because the main body of this piece is a 2.5 minute trailer for my upcoming album. I just want to say that I'm not. So basically, I'm not. I'm not considering comedy as for 20 years, 25 years, that was my bread and butter. It wasn't a lot of bread and butter, but it paid the rent. And so for the past 3 years, I've been looking for work, no matter how menial. And two of the typing companies that I was doing transcription for have been sold out to AI, not because the work is any more accurate or better in any quality, simply because of the economic principle that you do not have to pay a human being if you use AI. And just take a slight diversion. There was a comment. See, one of the things that I don't like speaking in my own voice sometimes is that generally, I mean, you guys have been really wonderful. A lot of people have given me good kudos on the latest Selvatico and all of that. But there was something recently, when I first posted this interview that somebody had done with me, Graham Fletcher had done with me. Somebody named the Real Bond Girl or something like that had posted. You seem to be the sort of person that in the olden times you wouldn't like Morse code because it might have a technological advancements like Morse code because it might have a deleterious effect on human creativity. And that argument, which is being bandied about a lot nowadays, was something like in relation to something as inhuman as AI. Is the argument basically is if you enjoy the odd marijuana, you must therefore do heroin. You have to do heroin, and it's basically so. So I was typing, and that typing work's not coming in anymore. And occasionally I get some gardening work when things are going well. I've done a bit of dinner theater with these murder mysteries, earning 50 pounds here, 60 pounds there. But unless you have a car, you just can't get that many of them. And I recently started playing keyboards for a cover band, so I'm throwing everything out there. But I've got to be good at something, and and it's a combination of mistakes that I've made in conjunction with an asshole-ish, persnickety mainstream, and I feel like I've been paying for these sins now for 5 years, and I'm not the same person that I was, as anybody who's been following, the albums, the Selvatico series especially, will hear. And so what do you do when your back's to the wall and you want to borrow money to pay the rent or get some food? What do? You make another comedy album. You start working on another comedy album because you think, okay, I did this for 25 years for Christ's sake, and even if I'm not getting any work out there in either the comedy world or in the other world, so, I mean, this is what paid my way for 25 years. So start another album and then go to the people and say, help me get it done, and remind people that there was a time that if you liked the single that you heard on the radio, you went and bought the album, and if you're paying the license fee for the BBC, or a Netflix subscription, or you find that so insulting that there's a license fee for the BBC. it's almost a kind of a duty that if you do like something, somebody is making something that's antithetical to all of that, you would bung in the occasional five or 10 or 20er, just to say, keep going, don't give up. I can't look. I'm already 5.5 minutes in. This thing I wanted to play for you is 2.5 minutes, but I felt like I needed, wanted to preface it by saying, this is where I'm at. This is where things are right now, and I don't like having to do this, but there you go. Like I want to get this album done. Selvatico 4 was Baby Reindeer Part 2, which I'm glad so many of you have listened to and liked, but, just kind of, I need to hammer home that I'm damn the torpedoes, I'm making another one until I get some other kind of work. One of my latest harebrained schemes is going back and getting my doctorate after 30 years of being out of school. Just go get my doctorate just as a place to hide out until the world becomes less computerized. But anyway, so I'm already gone 6 minutes in, but I've been waxing nostalgic, for my time in San Francisco, living out of my car, having no idea what the hell I was doing there, feeling like I'd failed in New York, so I crossed across America to this town I'd never been in before, and I was doing this really weird open mic called Cafe International on Friday night, and I don't know if any San Franciscans out there remember that or if it's still going on, but there was a guy that ran the place, Cafe International, that he looked just like Malcolm X, horn-rimmed glasses, just down to a T, even dressed like him too. And he'd always wave me over after, and I would go up there, I'd do my 5 minutes, and it was a weird one-person sketch, like I had one where there was a kid that got into a food fight with the son, so the teacher sent the son and the kid to the principal's office, but because the son came into the principal's office, it made the whole school burn down. And the guy, every Friday night, that guy would wave me over, and I will never forget the first time he did that. He'd wave me over to the counter, and he'd shake my hand and tell me I did a good job, and there was a $10 bill in it. And, I always... It was little things like that, because nobody. I was watching to see if he did that with anybody else, and he never did. And I was like, it was some little thing going like, you're a true weirdo. You're something. So here's $10 either because it's not going to be that easy, or I don't want you to give up, or hang in there and don't ever, you might butt your head down the road against the big industry machine, or you might dovetail into something else that you probably shouldn't have been involved in, like politics for me, in 2016. But, just remember this $10, like these are the people that are going to give you $10. It's not going to be the other people. Well, okay, we're in meetings right now. I don't know if they like your first idea or not. Oh, gosh, boy, look at that. 8 minutes in, son of a bitch. Okay. Well, this is a test run anyway. I was so nervous. I was pacing around going, how the fuck do you talk to the people? Every week I talk to the patrons, and I'm used to that. I've got that little audience there. So, every Sunday it's just like I check in with the patrons. I'm working on a new album. Here's what I'm doing now. Here's what I did last week. Here's what I think about this, But for the public, I just scaled back. I felt like I took a vow of silence. Like I wanted to, regroup or whatever. And but now it's like, I was like, is anybody out there like me? Was I good at anything? I mean, I got turned down for. I taught myself Italian about 3 years ago, and I got an interview with as an Italian medical transcriptionist translator, and I'm talking to this lady on Zoom, and I was like, is she real or is she AI? I couldn't, you're so suspicious of everything nowadays, And I got turned down for that, and it's like, motherfucker, I gotta be. So I reached out to one of my old professors, after 30 years, but I said, is this guy still alive? I reached out to him, I said, I'm thinking of going back and getting my doctorate, got any advice? I don't even know how to go about doing that. I got a master's years ago in English restoration, British restoration of 18th century British literature. Because I guess I thought at the time there was a big British restoration 18th century literature boom going to happen, but no, it was computers. Who would have thought? That was the thing I should have invested in. Okay, so you're going to hear a trailer for Selvatico 5. I've got about 35 minutes of this in the can, in the mix, as they say. And I thought, do I play them a sketch from it, a segment of it? And I thought, no, I don't really want to give it away, though. That's the thing, I don't do this. I've never given away. I kind of hibernate until the whole thing is done, and I go, ta-da. And I thought, if I don't get any money, I've had bailiffs come by the house. We don't have those in America. Not that we have repo men, but we never I don't own anything, but they still come to the door, And who knows? There's theoretically, I could go to jail for not paying the council tax. I mean, I just like, boo hoo hoo, right? I mean, that's what they call the cost of living crisis, right? Which means that Bill Gates is missing a nickel, and somehow it trickles down to you not being able to eat food, and everybody's got some excuse. I love to give, but I call that this cost. No, it's poverty. Just like the British housing crisis. When I came out here and heard about the British housing crisis, I thought that meant homeless, because that's the only housing crisis there really is, right? Either you have a home or you don't. And for the moment, I have a roof over my head, but who knows for how much longer. And it's hard to create when you're in fear, but if you just suspend your disbelief, and just start working on it, because I thought maybe that's it. Maybe if I'm not getting anything out there, and I'm not getting anything out there from my former field, but make something, like just at least prove that I still have a soul, So I've been making something, and I thought, well, do I give them a sketch? How do I tease this out? And I don't like to give things away unfinished, and it is unfinished. It's not. I go through this over and over again. I set the levels on almost every little word, just to get it to where it sounds perfect to me, So it's raw. But I thought, no, what you do is you hack it up into little, so you're not going to hear sketches, maybe not even jokes within those sketches, but you're going to hear, I wrote a little cheat sheet, by the way, so I didn't go too long, and I fucked that already because it's 12 minutes in. A little, you will be introduced to a small fraction of the myriad characters you'll encounter in this latest album, Selvatico 5. But in order to finish it, I need your help. And whether that's 5 pounds, 10 pounds, whatever, either become a patron or there's a PayPal link below this video. But I need to get, and if I don't get it, I just have to accept it. I mean, there's lots of stuff that I have to accept, that I live in a world where David Mitchell and Phoebe Waller-Bridge get to make stuff, but I don't. And that's just the way, because I got to make stuff for a long, 2.5 decades is pretty good, and that was nice. And if it's over now, it's over. But, the short-term goal is to get this album finished, and hopefully to have some left over for rent and food until I get some work, in any fucking capacity whatsoever. I can type 100 words a minute. So that's the short-term goal, with your help. And the ultimate goal is to get out of here, get out of England. I have somebody that's willing to cover the plane fare, but I don't have a place deposit first month's rent. So either go back to America or any other country that might be interested in what I do. I mean, so I'm up to any offers, but it's been dead in Britain for a long time, and I've known that. And just you're frozen in a place that is not good to you because there's no income. So that's it. That's the short-term goal. Finish this album. Long-term goal, get out of here, because it's just not working. And I have good memories here, and I have bitter memories here. I got to do it. I got to be. I went to all sorts of places. But it's for the time being, it's finished here in this country. Anyway, that's my short-term and ultimate goals. And I feel like I've talked way too long, and I don't know if I'll do another take of this or not. But that's the story. There you have it. I need your help. What follows now is a 2.5-minute trailer compared to this 14.5-minute introduction. But that being said, sometimes you'll be looking for a 1-second sound effect on YouTube, and it'll begin with a 2-minute advert. So the proportion there is much more wildly divergent than here, at least, if I shut up now. So anyway, that being said, I hope you're having a good Sunday wherever the hell you are, And please enjoy the trailer. Do watch the screen for vital information on the screen as you hear this. It's a trailer, so don't expect to be laughing out loud. I've just kind of assembled various bits of the dialogue you'll hear, therefore hopefully compelling you to say, Jesus, I want this to get done so I can not only see my name in the credits, but see how all of these pieces fit together and make a coherent and satirical narrative. God bless you all. Good night. Prince dies, David Bowie dies, Lou Reed dies, now Ozzy Osbourne dies. And what's the first thing everybody does?
Leastways, I can get home in time to pay my tribute to Ozzy before the fucking internet closes.
It's bullshit, it's depressing, and it's extremely unpoetic.
All day long in bed supine I'll lay, receiving stores of taxpayer money for doing absolutely nothing all day.
Well done.
You seem to be the kind of person that if you were living in the old times, you would not like eyeglasses for people who couldn't see.
He kept trying to stop me. He didn't want me to be a school shooter either.
You wouldn't even like the wheel. Well, I would just say...
I believe there to be no shortage of smooth-shaven young men in the Soho district who might take umbrage at the narrowness of your description.
Where's my applause? You applaud his stupid wheel comment? I get nothing? This is insane. Who the fuck are you people?
Even if I spend all my free time at home locked in my dark bedroom, strung out on psychiatric medications, playing first-person shooters?
Well, Dylan, it's 2025. I mean, we all do that. The audience shouts out and they do a little cute sketch that shows how they all went to Cambridge, they all went to Cambridge, or the other one. Well, I bet you wish you hadn't killed yourself now, so you would have to sit here in this dusty old office listening to an old fuddy-duddy like me going on about your boring old school shooting from last year.
I'd like to get down in the mines, but I'm playing Grand Theft Auto 17 right now.
Yeah, that wasn't bad. Can we hear that back again, Reg?
All right.
If you download the app, you can find out if Grandma is worthy of a hug if you download the app.
It's getting there. I mean, it's really getting there. I think it's sounding good, you know. But I don't think it quite sounds like an intercom quite yet.
Okay, mate, not only am I an award-winning record producer, but I've also spent half my fucking life communicating like I am right fucking now over the fucking intercom.
Thank you so much for sitting down with me today.
What choice do I have? You're a voice in my head.
Rory Bremner, Harry Hill, Eddie Izzard, Stuart Lee, Robin Williams.
No, it's Will Franken.
No, these are the people that have praised your work over the years.
Oh, right, yeah.
Quite a list.
That was a different time, wasn't it?
Do you have any regrets?
Ha-cha-cha. I hope y'all learned a little bit more about the blues. Thank you. My name is Jeffrey Archer.
Amazing! Thank you so much. Oh gosh, they really like that.